Penetrate the mysteries of the great beyond. Who knows? This picture is based upon an extraordinary experiment carried out by Drs. Hughes and Tooney of the University of Los Angeles. There is no doubt as to its authenticity. Testimony of people participating in the experiment, sworn to by a notary public, preclude the possibility of any fraud. This picture is a combination of factual data mixed with fiction.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Dr. Diaz, Dr. Esther, what a pleasure to have you here.
The pleasure is all ours.
I hope you're feeling well.
Very well, thank you. And you?
The same old laborers, always working.
Trying to find new ways to help patients die painlessly.
Please don't choke. But won't you come in? My husband is in there waiting for you.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm most grateful to you for having taken the trouble to come to my home this evening.
It's no trouble, Doctor.
We're delighted. Who'd complain at having the opportunity of visiting with such a beautiful young lady as your wife, Flora?
Flatterer.
How are you, Pinkate?
Fine, Doctor.
Please sit down, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Dr. Diaz, Dr. Esther, I've taken the liberty of calling you here because I think it's time I revealed something very serious.
Let's hear it, then.
It's about the Aztec breastplate and the bracelet, gentlemen.
How's that? Why, the whole thing was forgotten long ago. It's a closed book, Doctor.
And that's exactly what I thought, too. But things have happened lately that I think you two should know about. My friends, be patient and allow me to tell you a story. Although you already know part of the history, there are some things that you ignore. I think the best thing to do is to begin at the beginning. You both recall, do you not, that occasion years ago, 5 to be exact, when we held a convention on psychiatry in this city. I attended and gave a talk on the results of my studies related to the regression of a patient to a past life through the use of hypnosis. My theory was greeted with amazement and incredulity by the members of the convention. Among others attending that day were you, Dr. Esther, and you, Dr. Diaz. You both had come with Dr. Krupp, and my theory was made the subject of ridicule, and I left the convention bitter and defeated. I got to the house feeling unsure of these ideas. I'd been squelched, but I just couldn't accept the other opinions of my theories. I was sure they could be proven. That night, Flora offered to undergo a hypnotic test. She was fully aware of the danger of the experiment. Assisted by her father and by Pinkate, I hypnotized her. During her past life, Flora had lived among the great peoples of the Aztec. She told us such strange things, amazing things. Far back in those ancient years, her name had been Xochi. She was deeply in love with a brave and high-born warrior called Popoca. Their love was so strong that it would not answer to reason. So they decided to run away, even though it was her sacred duty to preserve her maidenhood and be sacrificed to the god Tecatlicopa. But they were discovered by the tribal priests. As punishment, the warrior was buried alive, and an eternal curse was placed upon him.
Kaki popokaki. Umate me kao ni wiki, me palconi. Ni mission grupilia, ingwani que le huía, maye wigatineste. Monde malcayelis, moyo lo yas.
As for Xochi, she was adorned with the bracelet and the breastplate, which were engraved with hieroglyphics, indicating where the Aztec treasure was hidden. Then they cut out her heart. But as she began to regain consciousness, in the exact moment I came to the end of my little experiment, she struggled and began to shout. Flora had a terrible attack of some kind, and her blood pressure dropped to such an extent that we were afraid she might die. But a couple of weeks later, we discovered that Dr. Krupp, a man who had suddenly become a dangerous criminal in the underworld, had been there spying during my experiment. The experiment had been a complete success, but since we realized that no one would believe us unless we could come up with absolute proof, we decided to search for the breastplate and the bracelet. Flora acted as our guide, and we discovered a hidden passageway beneath the pyramid of Teotihuacan. Professor, I think we're up against a dead end.
It can't be possible. The Aztecs wouldn't build a secret passageway just to have it end up for no rhyme or reason. There must be some way through that wall.
Professor, it sounds hollow.
But it's so thick that it's senseless to try to break through.
Pinkate, lend me a hand, please. Flora, come on.
This must be a little room beneath the pyramid.
Yes, but I know it isn't the temple.
Look what I found! Come here!
What is it?
It looks like a well.
Well, I think it's an air shaft, but undoubtedly it will lead us somewhere.
Probably to the temple.
Well then, what are we waiting for?
Come on. After descending several flights of stairs, we suddenly encountered the hair-raising face of the god Tezcatlipoca. We had reached the lower temple and the Aztec tomb that Flora had mentioned. And there we came across the skeleton of what had once been Xochitl. On the chest lay the solid gold breastplate.
Xochitl, this is horrible to think I was she.
You know, we're the first persons to break in here. It's a world that slumbered all these years and begins to awaken now. We've found what we wanted so badly.
No, Edward, don't do it.
Now at last I'll be able to demonstrate this to my colleagues and prove my theory.
It's simply amazing.
Just a few days after I got the breastplate, I asked you all here, including Dr. Krupp, as you'll recall.
Certainly. I'd say that it was the greatest experience of my life.
And mine, too.
You must also recall that I said that I'd study the breastplate and that I'd try to decipher the hieroglyphics and see what they meant, since I knew that the message would tell how to find that hidden treasure.
Yes, but I remember your telling us that you also needed the bracelet.
Exactly, Doctor. One object complemented the other. Without the bracelet, it was simply impossible to decipher the code. So I decided to go back for it, in spite of the Aztec curse that surrounded it.
He who defiles the tomb of the Aztecs and finds the sacred plate will run the risk of death and his family as well, until the breastplate is replaced.
I depended upon the help of my father-in-law and of my good friend Dr. Pinkate. So once again, the three of us got together and returned to the tomb. When we reached there and I was just about to pick up the bracelet, my father-in-law stumbled on something and called my attention to it.
Look here. Look there. Doesn't that grave belong to Popoca?
Yes, according to the legend, it does.
In that case, where is he now?
We heard a strange shuffling noise that was coming in our direction. And then out of the darkness appeared the ghastly and terrifying Popoca. The Aztec warrior had come back to life. Come back to life to retrieve the objects that had been left in his care for eternity. Let's put out the lights. I have an idea. I don't think he can stand it. Turn them on. Shine them in his face. Turn them off again. Lights again. You better run. I'll follow you. PK! Professor, help me! Whoa! Pull me faster! To be perfectly frank, I thought my time had come. If it hadn't been for my friends, I'd have been torn to pieces.
It's incredible. A mummy comes back to life after hundreds of years in a sepulcher.
Dr. Diaz, you have my word of honor that the story I have been telling is the truth. Popoca, as I told you, was punished because he loved young Xochi. His curse was to guard the priceless bracelet as well as the golden breastplate, to do so for all eternity. Under this terrible curse, his poor soul would never find repose.
Continue, Edward.
Well, the bat on many occasions tried to steal these objects that I had found. Time passed rapidly. I thought the whole business had been forgotten. But I found that the Aztec curse still followed us. One night, the mummy came to this house to get his treasure pieces. And he kidnapped Flora. He tied her to the sacrificial stone where the skeleton of Xochi had lain for centuries, and placed the bracelet and the breastplate on her. Obviously, the mummy intended to make history repeat itself. He was going to cut out Flora's heart and offer it to the god Tecatlicopa. The three of us rushed to the pyramid to try to rescue Flora, and we stood transfixed for a moment at the scene we saw. The mummy was standing next to the stone. He was holding a knife high in his right hand. I jumped to the floor and luckily was able to hit the blade with the bullet. It lunged at me, and its enormous hands got hold of my throat. Life was leaving me rapidly when Flora's father suddenly held a cross up in front of its face. With this, he was able to hold the mummy at bay while we freed Flora. In a frenzy, we untied her and got her away from the stone. Then the professor ordered us to get her out of the pyramid. His tone was so adamant, and I was so concerned for Flora's safety that we obeyed him blindly. But when we got out, I realized that he hadn't followed us, and I decided to go back for him. In that very instant, a tremendous explosion shook the pyramid. The professor had given up his life in order to save ours. Since the mummy had stayed under tons of boulders and the bat had been sent to prison, Of course, we thought the whole business had come to an end. But it didn't happen that way. The bat, who is really the infamous Dr. Krupp.
Krupp?
He broke out of jail. In his mad determination to get my treasure, he kidnapped my daughter and Flora, and then hypnotized her.
Do tell us the rest, my friend. Then what happened?
In this state, she took the doctor to the Aztec tomb. He immediately located the mummy, taking the breastplate and the bracelet. Well, Krupp called me on the phone not too much later. I was ordered to go there and decipher the hieroglyphics to enable the demon to locate the treasure.
And you agreed?
Can't you see that I had to obey? To save my wife who had been kidnapped by the doctor, and my little girl.
But there's another thing that you should know. It'll surprise you to hear that Krupp once said that he needed that Aztec treasure to work on an experiment. He also said that the experiment, of course, was costly.
Now you know how I was forced to do it. I went to Krupp's laboratory and began to decipher the hieroglyphics. In the hands of those criminals, our lives were in grave danger. Our only hope was that the mummy, guided by unknown forces, would be able to find Dr. Krupp's hideout just the way he had found my house on a previous occasion. I dragged the thing out as much as possible, but the moment arrived when I could stall no longer. I finished it.
That's fine.
I hope you'll keep your promise now and set us all free, Doctor.
Eh? Oh, yes. You know what to do now, don't you, Bruno? Just what are you going to do? Murder us?
What do you think?
You unscrupulous pig!
Were and settled accounts with them. Then when he saw the doctor trying to escape, he picked him up like a rag doll and threw him into a pit full of rattlers. Afterwards, with the breastplate and the bracelet in his hand, he slowly shuffled away into the darkness and soon was lost from sight. I'll never forget the strong affection I had for Flora's father. Such a kind man whose intelligent advice brought about our salvation.
And the mummy went back to the pyramid?
No. The explosion destroyed his temple. He had no reason to go there.
In that case, can't you tell us where he is?
Permit me to continue. All these tragic happenings couldn't go unattended. So I went to the police and they heard the whole story. Then I returned to Krupp's hideout, accompanied by the chief of police and a couple of his men. You can imagine our surprise when we discovered the place was completely empty. The laboratory had been dismantled, and the bodies of the criminals that the mummy had killed had also disappeared. Continuing our search, we hurried to the snake pit. I was awestruck when I realized that the body of Dr. Krupp was no longer down there. Then, to our horror, we discovered that there was a small door in the back wall of the pit, through which the doctor could have escaped. Obviously, the doctor had escaped, And strangely, I don't think he'd been bitten.
The man's running loose.
So that would mean that the doctor kept trying to come by those articles so that he could locate the treasure.
You're right, my friend. He did just that. He began to bother us a couple of weeks later. It happened quite suddenly, you see. One dark night.
This is the house.
Do you really think this plan of yours is going to work, Doc?
You'll see. Now, I want you to be quiet. Keep still and don't make the slightest noise. Flora, it is my wish that you come to my side. Flora, I command you to come to me. Flora, I command you to come to me. Flora, are you listening? Come here to me. Flora, do not try to fight it. Come here. Flora, do not try to fight it. Come here. Flora, are you listening? I command you to come to me. Flora, you are to do as I command. Come here. You can hear the waves that are being sent out by that mummy, can you not? I know well that you're able to lead us to him.
Yes, I can.
Then tell us, where is Papoka?
In the ancient cemetery.
Come with me.
What are you doing here? Answer me! What are you doing here?
Come now, Flora. Come on, we must hurry. This the place?
Yes.
You devil. You stinking devil. Oh, I'd like to chop your rotten flesh to pieces.
It'll certainly be great to do so, but you know it's not possible now. We're going to make my experiment, so we must wait.
Wait. When I got so much hate eaten down deep inside of my guts, you ain't got no idea what it is to live like this. Hiding myself from everyone and everything. Just because of that stinking monster.
Calm down now. I promise you that he'll be destroyed. But give me time. Just a little time. It won't be too long before you can have your revenge. Let me get the breastplate first, the bracelet. So near to them, and yet so far because I can't touch them. It's too dangerous to do it. He'll wake up in an instant and destroy us. But I'll get them back. I swear it. No matter how long it takes me. You devilish mummy. Come on, we better go now. We'll be needing a lot of time if the plan I have is going to work out.
Anything you say.
Come, Flora. Now listen to me well, Flora. You'll go up to your room, and you'll go to sleep. And when you awaken, you'll act quite normally. And you won't recall a thing. Do you understand? You won't recall a thing. Now walk. Go on. Go on.
Well, good morning.
Good morning, sweetheart.
You must have been very tired. We were waiting down here to have breakfast with you. We could both eat a horse.
Bacon and eggs, like always?
Nothing for me, Maria. I have a terrible headache, dear.
What's that you've got on your gown?
It's all dirty. That's funny.
You've been down in the cellar.
No, sweetheart. I don't know.
But look at your slippers. They're all muddy.
Now, come on. What have you been up to?
Nothing. It's funny. These are new slippers. I just bought them. And now they're dirty.
I think you went out last night.
No. After I took my bath, I went to bed because I was tired.
Yes, but you got up later on, didn't you?
I did? No.
Yes. Because I woke up a couple of times and you were not in bed.
No, you're mistaken, darling. I assure you I didn't leave my bed for a second.
You went out last night. Honest, Mom.
Come on, let's forget the whole thing for now, all right? Remember, she has a great imagination. Tell me, has your headache passed?
No. I'm going to lie down for a while. Excuse me, please.
You children go out and have your breakfast.
Yes, Daddy.
Come on, Piquet, I want to talk to you.
Oh, boy, what a liar you are. You shut your big mouth. You're the liar.
Piquet, I'm very worried. This attitude that we've observed in Flora is not normal. What's more, I'm afraid that the bat has something to do with this.
Then you really think that child was telling the truth about it? And that her mother got up and went out?
Yes. It's quite probable.
But Flora insisted she didn't leave her bed for a second.
Because she can't recall anything. When she got up last night, she was sleeping.
I don't understand it. It seems impossible.
I'll tell you what I think. She was hypnotized and could be under post-hypnotic suggestion. So it seems to me that the bat controls her from a distance. It's logical. This strange attitude with Flora indicated that unscrupulous villain Krupp made her leave the house during the night.
But where did they go to?
Can't you guess what he's trying to do? You certainly know what he's after, the breastplate.
And besides that, the bracelet.
Precisely, Pinkate.
Then you think that she was made to go along with Krupp, and he wanted her to guide him to find the mummy.
Exactly, and you and I must go there. I'm going to find out if that scoundrel stole those objects.
But that'll be difficult. You can't investigate without any clues.
Yes.
Listen to me a second. Suppose we took her slippers to the laboratory to have that mud analyzed. That could help us, don't you think?
Yes, that might just be the solution. We'll take them, but I don't think she should find out. We'd better do it all in secret. Come on.
Yes, now I'm quite sure. It's embedded in the dirt. Of course, it's a small quantity, Doctor, but your suspicions are correct. They're pieces of marble.
You're sure it's marble?
Can you identify its source? Is it a special kind?
No, it isn't, but it's a fine quality. It might be a Carrara marble, I can say that. It's used in the construction of mausoleums, as far as I know.
Thank you.
This is the last cemetery. We've seen all the others. If we don't find anything here, we'd better forget about it.
Hello there.
Good evening. Tell me, are you the watchman here?
Yes, sir. Anything I can do for you?
Oh, yes. We'd like to ask you a few questions.
We'd like to know if you've seen anything strange the last few weeks or more recently. Anything very suspicious in or around the cemetery pertaining to one of the graves.
Are you from the police?
Yes, that's right, my friend, and we're after a very dangerous criminal whom we suspect has been hiding in one of the cemeteries around the city.
Well, the fact is, something pretty doggone curious did happen. Just 2 nights ago, I was surprised to run into a young woman here wearing a kind of white robe. She seemed to be asleep, and 2 men entered the grounds with her. And when I asked them who they were, one of the guys slugged me, and they left me out cold here on the ground.
Then we'll be taking a look around the grounds.
You can do anything you want. Anything you want.
You see, I was right. At last, we're on the trail.
Now the tough part is yet to come, because we've got to walk around till we find the mummy.
Look, we'd better separate now. Go that way, Pinkate. I'll go over there. Go on.
Edward! Edward, come here!
What happened?
Look!
Come on. Look, the breastplate and the bracelet.
They didn't take it.
All this I've just told you occurred almost 5 years ago. We visited the crypt from time to time to take a look at the mummy, with its breastplate and its bracelet, too.
And the bat, is he still around?
You know, he disappeared from sight. Then, just a couple of days ago, we read an article that is very interesting. We were profoundly surprised by it. According to the article, a couple of nights before, a cadaver had been robbed from the amphitheater.
And the individual who did it was the bat, of course.
Yes. In the beginning, we had some doubts, since the man who had been attacked couldn't offer us a description of his assailants. But later on, our suspicions were confirmed. Yesterday, there was a burglary in the Radiology Institute. The thieves took a machine that uses radium. They also stole a brain out of a laboratory. This time, the police were able to identify the crooks as the bat and all his band. As a matter of fact, they were almost captured.
Are there any good clues, Doctor?
Lead is the only metal capable of resisting radiation. Lead material in this city is handled by many wholesalers. After visiting the first 3 or 4... good morning, sir.
Good morning. What can I do for you, gentlemen?
We're sorry to be a bother to you, but is it just possible that lately you sent out a large shipment of lead? Could you give me that information?
In the last 2 days?
Or it could be a week, more or less.
Let me check. We keep a record of our shipments in this book. Yes, here it is. Exactly 5 days ago, we made delivery of 20 plates of lead shielding 4 inches in width to number 22 Shade Street.
Many thanks.
You're welcome.
After investigating for days, at last we got the address. I think that Bat had made his hideout there, or his laboratory.
Well, I don't see why this thieving Dr. Krupp would go to the effort of stealing radium, a complete human brain, and also the body of some man.
Do you recall that the Bat once told Flora that he was working on a new experiment? I think that is the explanation.
It's possible. But there's no doubt that Dr. Krupp and his criminals are planning to cause trouble.
Certainly, that's also my opinion. Now, I'll tell you why I called you here tonight, gentlemen, because you both are scientists, and you'll be able to combat the situation. Just in case we end up being murdered.
You mean to say you two are thinking of going there without taking the police along?
Yes, because you see, we're still not sure that that's the Bat's laboratory. And the police still don't have much faith in us because of what happened before. Flora, in case we're not back here at the house by 3 in the morning, I'm leaving it up to you to call the police.
Edward!
Freeze, you two.
Dr. Armada. What a pleasant surprise.
Bruno?
A souvenir of the mummy. The boss is going to be very happy to say hello to you two again. Come along. Boss! Look what I found out in front.
Dr. Amada and his shadow. This is a pleasant surprise, gentlemen. After such a long time, I come face to face with such good friends. Exactly where did you find them?
Out in the shop there, looking around.
I offer you my congratulations, because you are magnificent detectives. Did anyone else come with them?
Nobody else. I saw them when they drew up in the automobile, alone.
Bruno, aren't you going to attend our guests the way they deserve? Go fetch chairs for the gentlemen.
Sure, right away.
Tell me, how's your beautiful and charming wife, Dr. Amada? I learned about your marriage, and I admit it's a bit late to say it, but receive my congratulations. And Pinky, how are you these days? Are you still the champion of right? There's no doubt about it, and I'm glad. Come over here. Who would have thought that you'd be here at the moment to witness this? Because you're about to see something that will astonish you, truly unbelievable. When you feast your eyes on this, I don't doubt that you'll be amazed, Doctor, and you'll be the first to congratulate me. Frankly, I'm happy that you came here to visit us, Dr. Amada. You're a man who is basically an intellectual, and that's why you'll be able to understand the greatness of my invention. I think you remember that time we met. Since then, I've worked day and night without resting for a minute. And during all that hectic time, I explored powers that no one else knows. All those great mysteries, the very basis of creation.
Then that means that you defy all the limits that were put down by God.
There are certain secrets that we could explore and discover rapidly. And that's why it's such a shame that fear impedes us so, Dr. Amada.
You're completely mad and ignorant also.
Don't you respect research at all? Don't you want to learn to know why a body functions? I do. And at last I found the cause. Take a look at this heart that's beating. It lives. It lives and pulsates because I gave it life. And if I can give life to inert material, why can't I give it to the bodies that are damned to death and decay? No one can possibly imagine how I worked. When I dug in the mud with these hands and entered tombs, I tortured many animals with pleasure to find the answers to man's existence.
You're insane, do you know?
I decided to create a man. A breathing body, a real man. And I have made that dream come true. There you have the greatest creation of man's intelligence. A human robot, Doctor. Tonight I'm going to find out. Tonight I'm going to put it to the supreme test. I'll activate the creature.
But this is monstrous, Doctor.
If it lives, then my triumph will be complete, Dr. Amada. Because I'll get the treasure, and I'll be rich. This thing I created has enormous power, and you'll watch it. Now then, life for the robot. Doctor, watch this.
2:30 already.
Don't you think it would be better to call the police now?
I don't know what to do.
No. Let's all wait till 3 a.m. and respect the doctor's wishes.
Suppose they're in danger.
Oh, this is great, Doctor! The greatest invention! You can see it standing there. A marvelous machine, a tribute to the great intelligence of man. A human robot. With this shining creature, no human being on this earth can oppose me. Do you understand? Do you know what could have happened to you right now? Had I not diminished the electric force, the current that makes him move, and that is contained in this apparatus? With the slightest twist of this dial, you two would have been converted into atomic dust instantaneously. Because the robot utilizes radium and has sufficient power to disintegrate anything in the world. Right. It beats the mummy. Bruno, prepare the special plates. The lead will shield my truck. Hurry, time is flying. Tonight, my robot has to make a visit, you know. In a certain cemetery. What time is it? 10 minutes to 3. I told you there's no time to lose, Bruno. Hurry, get going!
I want the police. It's urgent. Headquarters, I want to talk to the chief of police.
I want you to stop and think about this. A new kind of world. An army of robots obeying me. The human species. Sheep obeying my orders. A new theory that man has not dared imagine. I'll make some more. Maybe 1,000. Now that I know how, the rest is easy. But for that, I need money. That treasure of the Aztecs. That's why tonight the mummy will give me what I want.
Boss, it's all set.
Fine. You two will stay here and guard our distinguished friends. They mustn't get away. They're an extremely important cog in my plan. I'm sorry that I can't take you along, but you'd only get underfoot. But I'll return, gentlemen, to inform you that I could destroy the mummy. And with the gold breastplate and bracelet in my hands, you'll begin once more to translate the hieroglyphics. This time you're helpless, because no one knows you're here. Dr. Amara.
Let's hurry. I'm afraid for their lives.
Come on, get up! Come on, let's go! Come on! Watch it! Come on, get it! Give me that gun! Come on!
Flora.
What happened here?
Chief, you can arrest those 2 men there in the other room.
Come on.
Dr. the Bat has gone to the tomb where the mummy is. Let's hurry. There's no time to lose.
What's that?
Hurry, Bruno! Take the breastplate and bracelet off of him!
Yes.
At last, you devil. At last I'm gonna have my revenge.
Popoka, in memory of the great love that once existed between us, stop all this death and destruction. Take these objects that are yours to guard and go back to the grave of our ancestors, where we should never have interrupted your eternal sleep.
Here's the way we quench our thirst, quench our thirst, quench our thirst. Here's the way we quench our thirst. At the refreshment counter, now's the time to yum, 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 yum. Now's the time to yum, yum, yum. At the refreshment counter, popcorn, drinks, and candy too, candy too, candy too. Popcorn, drinks, and candy too. At the refreshment counter, at the refreshment counter, at the refreshment counter.
Here's a new taste treat. The corn dog. Plump, juicy wieners are dipped in a thick, golden Southern-style corn batter that seals in all their freshness and flavor. If you like hot dogs, you'll love corn dogs. Everybody does. Try a corn dog with your favorite beverage. At the refreshment corner now. Corn dogs.
Sit down, Doctor. Make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
Cigar?
Oh, I believe not, thanks.
Is there something I can get you?
No, thank you. I'm quite all right the way I am. As a matter of fact, I just finished a rather large lunch.
Not celebrating, I hope.
Celebrating? I'm afraid I don't follow.
Excuse me, that was a little below the belt. I was referring to your envious position of being personally inside the story. You have that rare opportunity that comes all too seldom to any of us to scoop this as well as the other newspapers on that television broadcast of yours. By the time we go to press and hit the streets, the story will be almost a follow-up.
Well, I'm afraid I won't be broadcasting the story to anyone except you yourself. You see, I've decided to give up my radio and television work completely. I should never have gone into it in the first place. I realize now from things that have come to pass that a scientist is best suited to sit in front of a microscope, not a camera. At least one of my temperament is.
Can I use that in the story?
Yes, if you like.
You sound to me, Dr. Munson, as if you're completely closing out a chapter. As if everything that's happened has left you almost with a sense of shame, and I may add a certain degree of bitterness.
No, I'm not bitter. I feel certain all of that is far in the past. But shame, yes. That's a good description of men who allow themselves to be carried away with dreams of riches and create violence and death in the wake of what might have been, perhaps, tremendous discoveries of science.
Certainly you don't feel responsible for every mistake generated by others in your profession. If you did, you'd have yourself a full-time job and never get it done at that.
Let me put it this way. You have a certain code of ethics that you adhere to in running a newspaper. You don't print a story that you feel to be false or misleading, do you?
A newspaper serves the public. It's a different situation entirely.
And you feel that science doesn't?
Ultimately, of course it does. But men like yourself are given the freedom of choice in their own motivations. There's where the difference is. All newspapers conform to the same basic premise, and there's no need for any personal analysis, even when you're hired out by some other publication. In the field of science, however, personal implications are likely to vary all the way from duality to complete opposites. I'd say there's a tremendous difference between, well, say yourself and your Dr. Janney. After all, he's not here to give me the story, but you are.
Well, I can't deal too harshly with Dr. Janney when I know that it was my own doing that got him involved in the first place.
I understand he volunteered to work with you.
Well, perhaps he did. Perhaps we all volunteered at the beginning. But I can tell you one thing. Most of the doctors at Cowan Research would have pulled out fast if they realized where the events would lead them.
Dr. Munson, suppose you start at the beginning. Now, take it easy and try to remember everything that led up to last night. I believe it's important for me to fully understand each detail in its proper perspective. Reporting is, as you've said yourself, a responsibility of complete accuracy.
I'm afraid it won't be difficult for me to remember everything that has taken place. Not at all. Well, it all began when conscientious work in hypnotic regression, that is, regressing an individual past their present life to previous incarnations, began to interest science, and it was studied by myself and the rest of the staff at Cowan Research Foundation. And the foundation, as you know, was owned by my sister, who was the widow of Professor Cowan before she married Edmund Redding. Redding was made head of staff just before my sister was killed in a jet crash. Well, certain inconsistencies in my sister's will pointed out that both myself and Redding would be in complete control of the foundation in case of her death. Now, after a lengthy court battle, Redding won out, and I was expelled from the staff because of certain animosities that grew out of the proceedings. I'm happy to say now that it appears that the foundation will be reverted back into my own control. I was, of course, very grieved being kept out of the work in the lab that I had been a part of for so many years. And I was also very concerned about my nephew, Timmy, who was now left with only a stepfather to take care of him. All of my experimental notes were left to the foundation, and I felt somewhat cheated. And rather badly over losing my key subject to the hypnosis, Ann Taylor, who had the marvelous capacity to go into the trance state and recall her previous life with the ancient Mayan civilization. We found that she could almost recall the exact location inside a still existing pyramid of a possible huge fortune in ancient gold. Well, the phenomenal results that Redding had with Ann Taylor was the subject of much inquiry around the world, and pressure was put on the Cowan Research to make its findings known to the Science Association. Redding agreed to a symposium, at which time he would explain to everyone in detail and open the case before the entire association. This occurred in early September, on a Friday afternoon, just preceding the Labor Day weekend.
Gentlemen, Dr. Edmund Redding.
As Redding began to speak, it became immediately apparent that he had a change of heart and decided it was in his own interest to withhold the information everyone had come to hear. This was taken with great surprise by those who had traveled thousands of miles to attend the lecture. He boldly brought out the fact that even though he and his staff believed firmly in the open transfer of new information in the field which he himself had learned because it had been built upon the shoulders of all who had worked before him, his present results would have to remain within the confines of his own group. Little time had elapsed before Redding found himself challenged openly to reveal his reasons for holding back the findings and new understandings of the Mayan civilization they knew had been brought about through his months of work in hypnosis with Ann Taylor. He was asked on several occasions questions that were basic in nature, and these were answered to a degree that would inhibit the further points that would naturally follow. When he was literally pressured into a directly pointed corner of questioning, Redding simply refused to answer. In expressing his deep regret that most of those present would regard his decision in the matter as grossly a selfish one, he insisted it was justified. The fact remained that all findings were, at this point, inconclusive because of the lack of time he would need to verify factors that were inconsistent with the geographical standards of the pyramid in Yucatan. It became more and more clear to the men who spoke out their disbeliefs of everything Redding had to say that there must have developed within the group at Cowan a tremendous motivation for their secrecy. There was no doubting the fact that the motivation such as this was the age-old plague of man's lust for that ever-appearing treasure of gold. If this great fortune were to be uncovered by a group dedicated to science, and particularly members of the association, every research lab in existence should be allowed to share in an actual search. Redding maintained stubbornly that his interest was primarily that of proving or disproving the statements of Miss Taylor in her hypnotized state as a Mayan princess, and the reference to hidden chambers within the pyramids was not in effect necessarily pertaining to gold. The meeting was closed quietly, with Dr. Redding assuming an attitude of rather composed indifference to men who had for years supported his work. Thank you. Sit down, John. You must be tired after so much flying.
I hope I'll be able to say the trip was worthwhile. You know, I'm not usually an angry man, no matter what the circumstances. But I'll say this farce of Dr. Redding's today has been enough to upset my insides.
Give a drink?
No, thank you. I had an ulcer flare-up the day before I left Hong Kong. And what with the long flight and food from stopover hotels, it was giving me trouble even before I heard Redding talk. Now it's really beginning to hurt.
You ought to let me check it out for you. I'm still practicing medicine, you know.
No, I didn't.
Oh, yes. I work every Monday and Friday at a local clinic. I think it's a good idea to keep up with the new developments at a level of actual operation.
You know, you haven't changed a bit since you actually carried me through medical school. That's a long time to maintain the same values. I admire it very much.
And you?
Me? Mm-hmm. Well, I've accepted the fact that I'm only referred to as Dr. Janney, not Professor Janney, as I once hoped would be the case. I'm afraid I dropped personal ambition years ago and realized that this so-called Dr. Janney wasn't in essence a doctor at all in the same sense as you and some of my other friends. I came to the conclusion that my real talent lies in the field of promoting research, making it possible for others to get the job done.
Well, administrative work is just as important as slides under a microscope.
Well, perhaps. But what about science reporting?
That. Now, don't tell me that you caught my television stint in Hong Kong.
No, it was in England.
Well, I didn't realize we were spread out that much. Well, for the record, let me explain by saying that any work that I've been doing in front of a microphone is just merely a stopgap. Most certainly not a career. It was a job that was offered me, and I accepted. See, when I was severed from Cowan, I unfortunately found myself faced with the pressures of every day that affect all of us. The most consistent one being financial.
I figured as much. And that's precisely why I'm not going back to Hong Kong.
No, you're not?
Well, not for a while yet, anyway. Oh, you may call me a mercenary, an opportunist, perhaps. But the fact is that things have been most difficult for us at the lab in Hong Kong. We've been in financial trouble for some time. Now, it's my job to righten the ship, and at the same time, map out a course that my researchers can follow. Now, I believe I can do that, and at the same time, map out a similar course for you.
Referring to the possibility of uncovering Mayan gold?
Oh, I believe it's a little bit more than a possibility. This girl, what's her name?
Ann Taylor.
Ah, yes, Taylor. Apparently she's the key to the real issue, not Cowan research. If you could only persuade her to break away from Reading somehow or other, but... Well, I suppose you've done everything in that direction.
Well, I wrote you a detailed history report on how I first found out about her ability to recall her past lives under just mild hypnosis. It was because of my excitement and encouragement that she consented to let me take her to see Reading, and also because she was very much aware of the fact, the same as all of us, that he holds the honor of being top man in his field. Her confidence has remained very much the same. Both herself and a small sister live right there on the premises. Now, I'm sure that nothing could persuade them to leave.
Ah. Then it seems a new channel of thinking is in order.
I've already effected it.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
And then tell me honestly if you could use some help.
That goes without saying. But how long could you stay away from your own base? There's absolutely no telling how much time would be involved. Most certainly no assurance of success.
Leave the gambles up to me, both on the amount of time and the chances of getting our hands on that gold. You realize, of course, that I would want to share in it.
Well, there wouldn't be any other reason for you to get involved. When you told me about your financial problems, my first thought was how I might be able to help you. Yes, I'd be glad to share 50-50. If there is anything to share.
If these stockpiles, or even one of them, could be located, it would represent such wealth that could actually affect the gold standard.
A leak of information is a definite possibility. But what they don't know is that the leak will not occur after they make the search of the pyramid as they fear, but that it has already begun to flow in a steady stream of information directly into my office.
You have someone on the staff?
Not exactly, but almost that.
Well, if this source is accurate, then you should know precisely the date they plan to leave for the pyramids.
I don't believe that I'll need any help to learn of that. It'll probably be carried by every newspaper. Reading knows that he won't be able to keep his activities a secret with regard to anything like a plane trip. And by the same token, he knows that nobody would follow him into the pyramid, because he'd be aware of their presence and simply hold off on the search until he was alone. No. My plan is to learn of the developments just as though I were actually going along with him.
In all justification, you should be.
Now, if I didn't truly believe that, I'd drop the entire thing.
I'm sure you would. As for myself, I can't claim to be drawn by anything quite so scrupulous. You remember I did mention to you that you might call me an opportunist.
Well, now, let's not think about it like that. You're one of the best qualified men I know when it comes to getting any certain thing done.
Well, you may become somewhat shocked at some of the methods that are sometimes necessary in a world of competition. I'm still well connected in this city with people who deal in business that's sometimes rather sticky. If it should turn out that I need their help on the project, I hope you won't become alarmed.
No, I won't interfere with your judgment.
Ah, good. That should simplify things a great deal. Now, getting back to cases. If your friend over at Cowan is not a member of the staff, who is he then?
He's my nephew, Timmy. A rather bright teenage boy who's been loyal to me ever since I had to leave. Timmy wasn't favored when my sister married Reading. And when she died, he was left not only without a mother, but with a stepfather that he had never really taken to. Redding, of course, never had the time to give the boy the companionship to overcome the usual stepson problem. I believe that I've been closer to Timmy for years than anyone else. He was positively shattered when I had to leave the group.
But you stayed in close contact.
Oh, not openly. No, if Redding realized the extent of our relationship, he'd cut Timmy off from the work as a security measure.
But how do you see him?
Timmy has a girlfriend. I reach him by calling her. She sets up the meetings. As a matter of fact, I'm due to set up an appointment right now. I'm rather eager to learn of Redding's feelings after what happened today, and what his next move might be. What I didn't know at the time was, the boy found he would be unable to get out of the house that night and keep the appointment. Timmy was instructed to go to his room and stay there. A mild protest was to no avail, as Timmy knew from past experience that his stepfather was a firm individual in a matter in which he held conviction. The men discussed every possible obstacle in the dangerous move Redding had suddenly decided upon. This move had been delayed several times previously out of fear of possible physical harm affecting Ann Taylor. In one mind, there was uncertainty and much doubt that this night should be the one in which would bring about the maximum depth of her Mayan existence. Redding told of his responsibility toward everyone involved and of his feeling that if he should allow himself to be influenced by outside opinions, or, for that matter, even members of the staff, then all their work could fail due to indecision, which in his mind was far worse than any research mistake. Redding himself was as fearful as any of the possible damage that they could bring about to the nervous centers of Ann Taylor. In the careful consideration that time was all important and knowing that each individual, including Ann Taylor herself, had prepared themselves, Redding reaffirmed his decision and announced that they would go ahead as planned.
I'm so late. This is Lynn. Hi.
Hi. I was beginning to get a little worried. Where's Timmy?
Oh, he won't be here. Boy, what a hassle.
Hassle?
Can I have a Coke or root beer or something? Yeah, we had to walk all the way from Broadway.
Waitress. Bring us a couple of Cokes. Is something wrong with Timmy?
Oh, Timmy's all right. It's okay. She knows about everything. She helps me all the time.
I see.
Things really got fouled up tonight. Yeah. Dr. Munson, I hope we won't be getting ourselves into trouble with this messenger routine. If it weren't for Timmy, I wouldn't be running all over half the town, believe me.
Well, I'm sure that your efforts will be rewarded. I know that Timmy appreciates your help as much as I do. Now tell me what happened.
Well, I phoned tonight just after you called. And at first I couldn't even get him on the line. One of the doctors told me he'd gone to bed. Well, I know Tim, and he's not about to go to sleep anywhere near that early. So I insisted on talking to him. And finally I heard his voice on one of the extensions. He gave me the surf jingle.
The what?
The surf jingle. It's a rhyme all the kids use. Sure, and when Timmy gives it to me, it means to dummy up and not say anything. You know, like a password.
A what? What?
Well, Besides that, I knew someone was listening in on the other line, so I just made with some small talk and then hung up. After that, we had to take a bus all the way over there, because I knew Timmy'd be waiting for us at the downstairs window.
Oh, but then you did speak to him.
Yeah, we did. I tried to call you, but you'd already left. At least I didn't get any answer at your place.
Well, when you got there, what did he have to say?
Calamity. Dr. Redding told Timmy to go to his room and that he couldn't under any circumstances leave the house. It seems sort of funny. So Timmy listened at the door and found out that tonight they're all going downstairs to the lab to find out once and for all if their information is for real. Dr. Redding said something about evidence of location or something like that. Anyway, if the experiment goes okay, they'll be leaving right away for the pyramids?
Pressure normal. Pulse steady with slight increase. Probably nothing more than the anticipation factor. Now remember, we won't let you go any deeper than you did last night.
I understand.
Miss Taylor, can you speak to us? Miss Taylor, do you hear me? Do you hear me?
I can hear you. I can see, as before, the ancient land. I see the mountains which surround a city of stone. Everything is of stone. I am part of the past and of the city in which I place myself in obedience to the ceremony of devotion and to the offering of hope before the shrine. I see a great chieftain who approaches in elegant splendor and is frightening, though his powerful form is surpassed by a known supreme wisdom. I am asked to never enter the pyramid, and yet I find myself unable to comply with my chieftain's request. I am compelled again and again to go into the pyramid, as if some great secret was to be in revelation before my eyes.
She's all right.
Good evening. This is Douglas Bank with all the news from across the nation. Dr. Edmund Redding, who heads the staff at Cowan Research Foundation in Pasadena, has departed for Yucatan for what he has described as an objective, first-hand search of the Great Pyramid there. Dr. Redding, a naturalist, has been successful in bringing to light some startling facts in the puzzles of man's early civilization. It isn't known at this reporting as to just what Dr. Redding is hopeful to find in the pyramid, which is something of a tourist attraction, and has been searched, in its upper levels at least, many times previously. Accompanying Dr. Redding in the trip to Yucatan are members of the staff of Cowan Research Foundation, Dr. Redding's son, and Miss Ann Taylor of Los Angeles. If you're wondering where the pyramid is located, it lies at the western tip of the North Yucatan border.
Timmy, you shouldn't have left the car.
Oh, he'll be all right. I'll stay close to him. As the memory of Ann Taylor had functioned to the degree of pointing to the areas unknown to her present generation, the discovery of that which had filled the minds of everyone had become a reality. The metal used by the ancient people was indeed gold of the highest quality. Somewhere inside that pyramid lay a fortune as suspected, and the area itself was close at hand. A cold wave of something evil brought fear to the heart of Ann Taylor, who for the first time felt herself wrong in searching the pyramid. Her protests were based upon intuitive feeling that in some way a dreadful force of dark evil will exert itself upon all those present for entering into the catacombs and chambers that were forbidden to all but the minds themselves. Found that a mathematical system of distance separated each opening from the other, and the approximate equation of squares would lead them from one chamber to a new one. Redding became more and more intent in his quest to dive deeper into the mysterious catacombs that he now firmly felt not only existed, but would ultimately turn up more than their wildest expectations. Even during the heat of his excitement, Redding was at all times alert to the possibility of their being followed by someone at the levels above them, and thought it best that one of the party take spot checks of both the outside and the areas covered to the present point.
As you may recall, we earlier in the week reported the details, as we knew them, of naturalist Edmund Redding's departure for Yucatan and of his quest for certain scientific data only yesterday morning, and has already touched off a sweeping fire of controversy in circles of anthropology and the scientific world in general. Our science editor, Dr. Frederick Munson, has the story.
From a telephone conversation I had with a colleague of mine, Dr. Eric Strummond of the Cowan Research Foundation, I learned of the incredible discoveries of the group who have now returned from Yucatan. The expedition, while proving to be one of the most startling in the history of anthropology, due to what was uncovered in the pyramid, was marred by the untimely death of Dr. Redding. An embalmed creature whose age has been estimated at something near 2,000 years at the minimum had risen from somewhere in the darkness of the pyramid to crush the body of Dr. Redding. Other members of the expedition were able to subdue the creature through the aid of gases that were brought along to test mineral contents, but unfortunately not in time to save the life of the expedition leader. The mummy, as it has been referred to up to this reporting, has been tied securely with ropes and transported to Pasadena, where it will be observed under laboratory conditions by members of the Cowan Research Foundation. Funeral services for Dr. Redding have been arranged for early next week.
Hello, Dr. Janney. Oh, hello, Timmy. No, he's doing his broadcast. I was just listening to it. I expect to hear from him shortly, though. Timmy, I'm working with your uncle now. It's all right to talk to me. He did tell you about it. Good. What? Why in heaven's name should the police be interested? I see. Well, look, Timmy, I'm glad you called. Now, don't get panicky about this thing. We'll figure something out. I'll tell him as soon as he comes in. Now, you stay in touch. Right, Timmy.
Detective Hammond, Police Department. I'd like a word with the head of staff.
I'm sorry, the doctors aren't talking to anyone.
Just a minute, sir. We have to talk to the
I'm
doctor.
sorry, they're not talking to anyone.
How'd it go?
Oh, all right. Weren't you listening?
Yes, I heard the broadcast. I met the hullabaloo. You must have been swamped with inquiries.
Yeah, from all the wrong people. Is there any coffee going? I sure could use some.
I've learned to work your kitchen. It's good and hot. I'll get it. You take a load off your feet.
Thanks. It's really something out there. Complete chaos.
You been able to find out anything from Cowan?
No, hardly more than the news people. I was rather surprised that they even accepted my call. I understand that some of the reporters had a difficult time getting through this morning. Well, after they talked with me, I suppose they thought it best to release the story to everyone. That was around noon. Now they're not even answering the phone.
They're going to have to, whether they like it or not.
No, I wouldn't be too sure about that. I have an idea that they're trying to decide upon a temporary head. This reminds me. I have to call my attorney. I missed him 3 times already. If he can get things rolling along fast enough, I might be able to take charge before anything is resolved by the staff.
You?
Yes, certainly. Redding's dead, isn't he? Yes. Hello. Is this... this is Dr. Munson. Is Mr. Bryan in yet? Yes. Yes, I will. Yes. Yes. Hello, Jim. I've been trying to get you since 9 o'clock this morning. I talked with your assistant around 10, but he couldn't tell me anything. Oh, yes. Yes, well, you know how difficult and how crucial the time element is. I want to take over at Cowan right away before they move that mummy off somewhere. Yes. Yes, I know it's difficult. Well, if you're positive that's all that you can do, well, I guess I'll have to accept it. Yes, I will. Thanks.
Well?
It'll take time to process the lab papers. And we may have to go back to court.
The minute they're served with papers, that's the perfect tip-off for them to pack up the mummy and cart him off any place they like.
I have to see him with my own eyes. Work with him. Do you realize that some type of life has been sustained in that creature for over 2,000 years? Think of what it would mean if we could learn the processes that have caused such phenomena.
I am thinking about it. Also about the blunders that could be made over at Cowan. It's very possible that pressure from the police department could make them so nervous they might just give up. I've known Eric and the others for a long time, the same as you. And I tell you, there's no strength there. No competitive spirit.
In what way do you contemplate the police getting involved?
They are involved. I had a phone call from the boy a short time ago.
Police? For what reason?
Well, Timmy told me that Redding's family had been back and forth to the lab a dozen times, asking questions about just how he was killed. It seems they don't believe that things happened just exactly the way Eric told everyone. It's obvious they've called in the police to investigate.
Well, I suppose they'll be questioning everyone connected with Cowan.
Well, if they come here, use all your diplomatic charm. I want them in and out of here as quickly as possible.
This whole thing is getting to be more than I anticipated. Why can't things be done the right way, the easy way?
Now, let's not get pessimistic. There's no need for it.
No, of course not.
Now, the way I see it, the most important thing we can do is get our hands on that mummy. With him, we might be able to establish ourselves into the best position of all. The gold is something that'll take care of itself.
Now, what chance do you think we have to do that?
A very good one. As a matter of fact, I think you're in for a few surprises. Pleasant ones.
I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about.
In the first place, I'd like to point out that in my mind, that mummy rightfully belongs to you. Now, you remember that old laboratory I used to have over in Clinton Street?
Yes?
Well, I went over there. It's been vacant ever since I left it 2 years ago. Everything is still intact, including all the equipment. It's a little dusty, perhaps, but with some effort, it can be made to work as well as it ever did.
You've opened it up?
In secrecy, of course.
Secrecy? I'm afraid I don't understand.
You will, Doctor. You will.
Hello.
This is Stetson. Calling for Dr. Janney. He has a little job you can do for him.
Yeah? Well, listen, you better tell him that my price is going up a little. Well, you know, the cost of living and all that.
You'll be paid off good if you do everything right.
Okay, that sounds good. Who's the guy and when do you want it done?
Now, this is a little different. He wants you to steal a mummy from the Cowan Research Foundation and bring it on over to the lab.
I'm not sure I heard you right. Steal a what?
You read the publicity in the papers. A mummy. It's in the very back building of the Cowan Research Foundation. Hello?
Yeah, I got it. I think I heard you right the first time.
We're having coffee at the Star Cafe, 10th Street. Come on over and I'll give you more details.
Yeah, sure.
I'll be glad to cooperate. The police are most certainly entitled to any information that will help. I've always felt that way.
Thank you.
I feel it's a duty of every citizen.
I'm glad to hear that, Dr. Munson. I must say, though, that you're a rare breed. Having the door shut in one's face is more or less a policeman's hazard.
Well, I work independently here. It has its disadvantages, but also the advantage of not being tied down in anything of a political nature. Or the obligations to a board of directors, as is the case of Cowan Research. Oh, I could have gone to work for them a long time ago, but I'd rather have it this way, be my own boss.
How familiar are you with the staff over at Cowan, Doctor?
Oh, well, I've known them all for 15 years, almost intimately. And I may add that there's never been an instance of foul play during that period or any other time. Men of science, you know, are dedicated to their work. That above everything.
I've heard. Doctor, I'd like you to tell us everything you know about Dr. Redding, about his work. When did it begin? And incidentally, anyone you might know who would be interested in it.
Well, in answer to that, I can only say that the work started, seriously that is, about 7 or 8 years ago. Great strides were made in the field by Stanton, Dubois, and many others around the world. A great deal of evidence was brought forth to spur many of us into our own deep interest in the field. Dr. Redding was one of the few who dropped everything else to plunge into regression on a full-time basis. He, like the rest of us, at first found it difficult to find legitimate subjects, those who could really go deep.
People like Ann Taylor.
Exactly. Which reminds me, there's a younger sister of 6, an asthmatic. I'll have to do something for that child.
What is it that makes the difference in the individual? Why Ann Taylor?
Now you're beginning to sound like a detective. Oh, no offense, of course. But a short, precise answer I cannot give you. We simply do not know.
Doctor, I'm very interested in what I asked you about other people, connected with Dr. Redding's work.
Well, I can only tell you that the interest spread in every direction, every country. If you're attempting to pinpoint individuals, you have your work cut out for you. The number would run into the thousands.
Makes a good headline. Could sell some papers. Rouse a whole lot of interest. Yes, a story like this spread across the front page could increase our circulation temporarily anyway by 30, 40, maybe 50,000 copies. But I wish you'd tell me something, Doctor, because I'd truly like to know. Just what is your game?
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Perhaps it's me you don't understand. Perhaps your understanding is based upon an editor's need for a story to sell morning editions. And that's the only important thing for him. Is that your understanding of me, Doctor?
I don't know what you're driving at unless...
Unless I smell something rotten in Jamaica.
If you think I've come to you with inaccurate facts, you're greatly mistaken. Everything is the truth, just the way it happened.
It's a shame that these facts can't be backed up by anyone except you. The men at Cowan Research won't talk to anyone, and your Dr. Janney has left the country. And the most curious fact of all remains that every individual that actually saw this mummy of yours is no longer alive. You know, it cost us almost $200 in makeup to see a proof like this. Harry, kill the mummy story. Just carry a 2-column bit on the auto accident. Everyone killed. The driver and Taylor and one more unidentified. Now, replace the headline with something on the mine disaster. Now, get started. We've lost a lot of time. Well, there you are, Doctor. Fact remains fact. And fantasy, well, that's something we don't write about. You know, a mistake is something we can correct in time, even though in some cases we're tempted not to. Now, you've given up your broadcasting, so no decision had to be made. That's quite convenient, I'd say, under the circumstances.
I tell you, it's the truth. Every word of it.
If it is, then I'll be the loser. I've been there before. You know, the $200 I mentioned to make up your headline, it's actually not so bad as all that. In saving face, we also gain a few dollars. You see, the lead is melted down so we can use it for type again. Seems like everything we use today has some sort of salvage value. Even the waste paper is hammered into pulp and put through the presses again to come out with another story. Perhaps not a startling one, Doctor, but a reasonably documented story.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.